This is Confidential Conversations. Today we have Bitter and Broke with us. Yoshi, Jay, Aaron. It's soul, funk, R&B, experimental. They're trailblazers creating a new genre. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So why don't we start by talking about what each of you do individually?
So I sing, I play guitar, I produce with these guys, we write lyrics, pretty much. Yeah, I do the least, I think. Can only play one instrument, so yeah.
I play I sing as well, I play drums, I play bass, kind of putting my hands all over different instruments these days. Just been producing with the lads, mixing some stuff, producing music.
I specifically play keys. That's my lead instrument. I also play like horns, so like alto sax, trumpet. Once in a while, you'll see me on like talkbox.
The shisha.
I've heard that.
Yeah. So like and we try to be like really tasteful with our usage of it, like not to try to be super gimmicky and be like,
it's not gimmicky.
And we try to be very, very mindful of it, like being like, okay, when is enough?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Guitar?
Yeah, I play like just random like it'll be. I love just like walking off stage and then pulling out another instrument. Like I like doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like especially at Objects, because of the open mic stuff. Like the format is just let's just keep surprising people with something different.
Yeah, pulling people in.
Yeah, and like that's kind of like my role, just being like, just sprinkle little things on top of here. Yeah. I also do drumming with Jay. I MPC drum, so he's an actual drummer. So I just listen to how he drums and I try to emulate it with.
Yeah,
man, vice versa, bro.
Beep boop.
That's awesome. You guys are like a powerhouse.
And it's awesome because like we all kind of do our own thing, but we all still like help each other with other stuff. Like we help each other with our own lines and stuff. Like if I have to put in a keys part, like Jay would be singing something or Yoshi has something, and then they'll try to communicate it to me, and then I'll do my best to like music whisper all the stuff they're singing. So
it sounds like you guys you're a powerhouse. That's what it is. All three of you together.
We're just nerds.
Yeah.
Well, that's crazy that you all have so much experience.
We have a lot of experience, but we don't have a lot of friends.
I was just gonna say, what we have in musical ability, we lack in just having people around us.
Well, but it sounds like you're at Objects once every couple weeks, right?
Once a month.
Once a month. Yeah, that's sweet. That's sick. You must be meeting so many people there.
Oh yeah, it's the gift that keeps on giving. That's for sure. Because like it's not only do we get to create like a platform for people who don't really have an ability to, or a space to just like do their thing, because some of the open mics, like I don't want to talk smack about different open mics in the city, but I feel like a lot of the open mics are so similar in the city. And what we try to do is being like, hey, if there's someone who's in like the R&B neo soul space, I feel like they don't fit in those like funk oriented open jams or open mics.
Blues.
It's centered around the musician as opposed to the artist or the singer songwriter. Right?
Good space. Are you guys all hosting together?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah, it's good. I usually say a lot of the stupid stuff, and then these guys will reel it in. Yeah.
We need one of those.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
We don't find it, right?
Yeah, and it's really cool because it's not just a performance thing. Just based on some of the conversations we've been having recently, it's people's careers have started there. Yeah. Or like they used to be a dancer, but now they're doing video because they connected with someone, and then now they're really focused on music videos, or their dance career has gone off, or they met other people, formed the band. Like I think that's really cool, right? Hearing other people's music is sick, that vibe is sick, but then like getting something tangible after to like take the next step in your career, whether that's a career that you expect it to be in or not. I think that's really cool, and I think it's really important.
The one that you're saying you get assets there, like people are taking videos of photography. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's a photography space, right? So all the props are there. Everything looks nice. Yeah. It's very super unique, like super high ceilings.
How did you guys swing that? How did you get in there?
Our hair cutter, our barber.
You know a guy.
Our cutter.
Yeah, like in 2020, like peak pandemic, or at least when the pandemic just started, my barber at the time, shout outs to Mike Hollow Brown. And it was just like,
Objects?
Yeah. So he was just cutting hair out of Objects because they couldn't book it as a studio at the time. So he was just like, well, this is just here. It's just sitting here. So he's like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna start cutting out of here, this and that. And then he introduced me to the owner.
Yeah.
And this is like, I don't know, May 2020. And then from that moment on, like we were going every day for like 6 to 8 months. And this was perfect because like the owner, he was kind of in the transitioning period looking for a new team. And we were just like, hey, we're like, I had just lost my job at the time. So I'm like, you know what? This will keep me busy and it'll keep me like inspired and motivated and staying in art while I tried to find a job.
Yeah.
But luckily that didn't happen, and we're just doing this full time. So that's,
Yeah, you're doing it full time.
yeah.
Right?
So that's like
crazy.
the beauty of that. Seeing that, like, being like lost the job and now being able to do music full time is pretty crazy.
Yeah, well, especially now that you can't really make money off your royalties. Like that's not unless you're Taylor Swift or Beyonce. Really.
Yeah.
What streams are you guys finding most effective? There's 3 of you. You're sustaining 3 of you. That's crazy.
Yeah. It is pretty crazy.
I think the biggest thing is just corporate shows, weddings, things like that. It's really nice because it's not about us a lot of the times, and I kind of like that because
Like a session gig almost. Like they're hiring you to.
Yeah, and it's different from like a concert. Like, oh yeah, we're doing a performance. Like Bitter and Broke here. It's like it's kind of like we get to kind of we still take it seriously and professionally, but like I feel like we can take a little bit of more creativity, kind of
creative liberties.
Because
we know that the focus isn't on us.
Yeah.
Like we love quote unquote background gigs.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's where we get our most experimental. Like even when we DJ, for example, we have a pretty regular gig at Free Play,
nice.
the arcade
Really?
bar. Yeah. And
place.
we'll be DJing and Jay's just ripping drums the entire time. And we're just like, yo, no one, like there's no pressure to get anyone dancing, so you'd find us DJing anywhere from like R&B, hip hop to drum and bass, house, jungle, and we're just like whatever, like we just want to have fun, and I feel like our energy of us just being so excited gathers people to us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I have
saying?
to keep an eye out for you guys at Free Play.
Like it's so random, like literally jungle, drum and bass, like we're just ripping.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, like I'm just scratching over Yoshi just playing crazy beats and Jay is just going nuts. We love that stuff.
So who organizes it with you guys for that? Like who organizes those shows for you?
Yeah, sometimes we'll get it by email, sometimes we'll get it by Instagram.
Okay.
Like I mean, luckily,
people are reaching out to you now.
so that's what we were gonna say. So the majority of our
kind
gigs,
of built a good reputation.
it's all external. Like it's just coming to us, just because we've been at that point
They're
where
all
we were hunting.
recommending you.
Yeah. And it kind of just continues to snowball. So we've been very, very fortunate. Knock on wood. That every corporate gig leads to another corporate gig, and you still secure the other.
I think it's the way that you are at those corporate gigs that leads to another one. I think it's not completely chance. I think it's like you probably did a great job at that gig, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we know somebody that would be awesome." You know what I mean? Like, these guys, they were no trouble and did an awesome. You know what I mean? I would assume that's how that's happening.
Yeah.
We try our best, because I feel like it's so easy to see musicians or just entertainers in general and be like, "Oh, these guys are kids." So we have to make sure that we're operating like like an actual business. I think that's I know you were talking about revenue sources earlier, but I think that's one of the biggest changes that really helped in bringing income is just treating our band more as a business rather than creatives, because the creative side is easy, right?
Always
it's fun, it's whatever, but then what's the framework around it to now push that creative item, the products that we're creating.
Okay.
Right. So things like grants, things like budgeting ahead of time, understanding what's required for certain things like recording, music videos. What's a appropriate amount to spend on like online spend. Just thinking about different things and best representing ourselves to the point where like we're almost trying to be like a Google or like a Microsoft, but without the slavery or whatever. I don't know what they do there. The 20-hour shifts they have at Google and Microsoft.
It's actually been our focus for the last, I want to say
That's what you're missing, right?
Yeah. It's just a whole bunch of
really
minions.
efficient.
like I feel like the focus over the last like 8 to 10 months is like sustainability and like just financial growth, just kind of like legitimizing the business. Like we preach words like systems and stuff like that, being like there has to be a system for everything, from tear down setup like that to whenever we meet at the studio at my home. Like there's always a system to that.
You guys must have. How did you even get together? Because were you all together in that first album?
No, actually. When we put together that mixtape, it was just Yoshi and I.
Okay.
We met Jay, like, 2021.
Yeah.
Nice.
At Objects.
At Objects,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Not knowing he lives 5 minutes away from us in Scarborough. Like,
Wow.
Like, if that
awesome.
isn't the universe and God
And
putting
that's
you
crazy
together.
that you're coming from Scarborough to Objects, because it's not that close.
Like,
Crazy.
on a good day, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, but that's huge, right? Like you're making that commitment to come all the way in, before once a week. That's crazy,
It's fun.
But it was a huge
Yeah.
opportunity, right? Like,
Yeah.
imagine having access to a space like that,
Yeah.
and it was empty, like
Yeah.
completely empty, and we were kids in a candy shop. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we're constantly redecorating. We were hosting like live streams on a weekly basis, where we had something called the Bitter Juice Show, where it was us and one of our like number one collaborators, Big Juice,
Okay.
and he would come over and we would just do like an hour and a half of just online shows for us freestyling to he played random games or interacting with the Twitch community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
That's
So much
sweet.
fun.
I read something about there was something in your bio about community events and how you've been hosting stuff like that for a while now. I think that's kind of a big part of having a career, is having your own projects on top of
course.
all these opportunities. How are you guys, there's three of you meet at your studio.
Yes.
How are you guys organizing these things? Like, are you meeting once a week? Do you have a structure?
Yes.
Right? Like,
And,
do you have roles?
And the secret to a lot of this is because of our manager.
Okay.
Like we're managed by one of our really good friends. His name is Adi Dasgupta. He actually owns and manages his own company called Vibe Creative Labs. They're in more of the development space.
Okay.
So he helps out with like grant writing. They do copy. They do all of
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So he's been so paramount in just like organizing ourselves because at the end of the day, like
I was gonna say, I'm like, one of you has got to be the mastermind. Like, who's figuring out who's
and
doing
like,
what?
but like that's the thing. Like we're all kind of doing that.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
like we have this metaphor about being like no backseat driving. Like all four
Yeah.
of us are always in the front seat,
Yeah.
and we all hold each other accountable because we all have equal stake.
No, that's awesome.
You know what
That's
I'm saying? But Addy is amazing because like he comes from that development background as a social worker.
Oh, wow.
So he's so education and development and like the community outreach, like that's huge for us.
Yeah.
Like we've ran an event, Say Your Piece, how many times now? Like
Three
four times, and it's actually scaled from the parking lot of Object Studio to the NIA Center. So like
Wow.
we went from literally a parking lot to this performing arts center that's backed by the city,
That's crazy.
and like we were
They
able
let us
to,
in. They finally let us in.
Yeah, we were able to like people pulled up and we were able to put money in their hand for performing at an open mic essentially, and
Wow.
like that felt so cool to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey artists, you've never performed in front of a crowd, but guess what, now you're a professional because I've put money in your hand for this performance.
Yeah.
And then like you put that and you see the reaction, you're like, oh my god, I feel so enabled.
No, I'm real.
Yeah, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And like we don't do it to do that, but it's like that's a
Yeah.
huge benefit.
Yeah. Pay your artists.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you can pay your artists, pay your artists.
Yeah.
Pretty artist.
That's awesome. And you guys are at Massey Hall now, coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
on the 21st of June, we have Young Street Renaissance.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. It's at the TD Music Hall. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
attachment to Massey Hall.
Same thing.
But I feel like it hits better.
You're in
when
the
you just don't
building.
know. Yeah,
Oh,
close.
yeah.
There's like one thin wall probably separating
Yeah.
the space.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're super excited for that. We have a handful of really good musicians, just from like Toronto, Ontario, Canada a little bit. We got Shebad from Guelph. We got Sunshine Makers from London.
Nice.
We got Sophia Norman from Toronto. They're solo artists. We got Los Roots from, I guess, Toronto / Mexico. We got Big Juice. We got us.
We got the homies Mayraki.
Yeah, we got Meraki. Yeah. So it's kind
are
of like
you in charge of things?
We're the artists.
we are
Yeah,
organizing it. Yeah.
That's what I thought. And it said something about City of Toronto, like live bridges, something or other. What-
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So we've been fortunate enough to be able to work with the City of Toronto over the past couple years.
Okay.
We reached out on like an application, and then did one performance, and then things kind of led one thing to another, and then we got to the point where they're like, hey, we're building this new thing, you want to come check it out, like we guys think you're a good fit, and then things push come to shove, we're doing an event now
Yeah.
in the space. City of Toronto is helping us, Massey Hall is also helping us with promotion and things like that, and
Wow.
funding and things, so come out, or I might try.
Yeah.
I might actually
Get out there.
Yeah. Like as a company, it's definitely our biggest investment to date for like events, just because we've done stuff from like small scale concerts to we did a whole festival back in like maybe 2-3 years ago called Payday, where we brought like
you organized a festival.
yeah, we organized
That's
our own
crazy.
festival. Actually had objects, so a multi-room festival. We had like tattoo artists going, we had like live painting, we had
That's insane.
yeah, like every type of art medium was happening simultaneously throughout concerts and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. But now it's like, hey, let's try to scale it. Let's try to get this into bigger spaces and bigger backing, bigger sponsors, and all that kind of stuff. Because like, I feel like experiences are kind of like on the decline. So we need to try to be a little bit more innovative in terms of like, what does it mean to go out to see stuff and all that kind of stuff.
What's attention grabbing? What's special about this?
Without being gimmicky and like corny. It's like, no, as long as
that's hard too. Yeah,
it has to resonate with the brand at the end of the day. Like just like every element, every chess piece has to be well thought out.
When did your manager get connected with you guys? Like when did that?
Years ago. Years.
I want to say like 2018.
Wow, that's crazy.
2018, 2019. Yeah, right before the pandemic.
There's a lot of artists that are hesitant to have a manager or to include someone else in their career. Why would you do that?
I think it's always good to have in anything someone that's outside of what you're doing giving you feedback. Yeah. And luckily, you know, he is in arts but not directly related to music, so I feel like he has the understanding of an artist, but he also has the understanding as a business owner, you know. So it kind of worked out. I think he was the right person to help kind of point us in the right direction with a lot of these things, because before I think kind of moving a bit slower, but once Addie came on, I feel like that energy was kind of like directed in specific places, which helped us like, you know, hit each thing specifically one at a time quickly rather than doing everything all at once in a mild pace, right? So get a manager if you can. Of course, like it depends. Like things just worked out nicely for us. We've heard stories where their management sucks and you know, it's not what they expected it to be. So you know, as like anything, right? Like
it's a give and take.
And you just gotta, you know, vet it out and be careful and
you be careful.
Yeah, be careful. You never know, man. You never know. There's a lot of people out here doing a lot of random stuff, so you want to make sure that you find the right people that are doing the right things, rather than the other people that are just doing random things for the sake of doing random things.
Well, since 2018, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like he came with a whole bunch of recommendations. It was so lucky because he was another 5 minutes away from me.
Wow, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like all these things that just had to be.
Yeah.
And we haven't turned back since. So.
Well, I think it helps having motivated artists. I'm glad to get you guys in. You had some great music, honestly. I really like your music. Like I want more of it. I listened. I was biking here and listening to it, and I was like, "It's over. It's all gone."
That was the intent. Tasogari was specifically meant to be a 2:30 flat, being like, we want to package like a perfect single, being like, it's so short you want to just rinse it over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
Thank you. Yeah, we got a lot of singles coming out. We're hopefully trying to make an EP by the end of the year as well. But yeah, we just need to make a bigger catalog. A little bit. Yeah.
You
hit all the different genres, you know? Yeah, of course.
We're working on it.
And then, you know, the culmination.
You're working on other things too.
Yeah. But you know, I think the EP will be like the culmination of everything that we've done, you know, a package of a lot of different songs and I'm not gonna promise anything yet. There's a lot of work left to do, but it'll come out.
It's also expensive to make music.
You're not wrong. You said you have a studio at home.
Well, it's a very makeshift home studio. Like we have monitors, we have like a 12-channel mixer, and our instruments, and that's pretty much it.
It's the one we have for like home sessions and stuff.
Okay.
With, like the long table and
so that's literally just my home.
There's no sound treatment. The sound is pretty live in that room. But you know, like we have an interface set up. We'll plug all our instruments. We have a couple microphones.
Is that where you've done all your music?
So we build a lot of the ideas there.
Demos.
And then we'll take it into the studio. And a lot of the times, really, what we only need to record is like vocals.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we'll record, you know, some of our instruments, but mainly a lot of it's just. All right, let's get the vocals. Make sure that sounds good because we can't do that at the. Yeah.
So who is your whole team then? You have an engineer, you have a manager.
Yep. We also have a creative director. His name is Arun.
Wow.
Arun Selva. He's a photographer, graphic arts designer. I don't know how to phrase
He's a
it.
visual artist.
He's a visual artist. Yeah.
We are acoustic artists.
He dabbles in like in some fashion, so really cool guy. And that's we work with a guy named Shavar pretty regularly on
the video side of things,
like the higher quality video side when we're not like personally shooting it ourselves. Just because like we're at the point where I think cohesion is what we're looking for in terms of like a look and all that kind of stuff. Like we're trying to lock in something now, as opposed to being like, okay, let's try to find the cheapest person every project. It's like no, get to the same person and let's develop something over time.
Well, and I think it's a huge thing to, especially for emerging artists, people who are just starting out, to give those responsibilities to other people and allow them to do those kind of jobs for you. Hard to let go of those reins, I think.
But like, I mean, the way that we look at it is we need to try the attempt first with our own two hands. To be able to effectively communicate our needs. Because like I don't like working with the people who have never tried it and immediately go to, I'm gonna pay for the solution. As opposed to let's do our own research.
Let's see what we can do and see what we can't do.
Like grant writing specifically. You know what I mean? Like everyone thinks of the word grant and they completely go overwhelmed and like, oh my god, I am drowning. And if you just sit with it and be like, just read the guidelines, read the actual grants, it's so straightforward.
Book report.
Literally, it's just it's a homework assignment.
It's a very book report.
So then and you save so much money just doing everything in house. And when you find that person to take those responsibilities, not only can you communicate everything that you're looking for in that person, but you know if they're doing a good job or not because you've already done this.
Well, and they also probably have some respect for you having tried to do it yourself. And you have respect for them being like, here's this huge job I'm giving you. That
like learning
I've
even
done.
their language. Like especially when working with like a designer or something, like speaking the words that they speak and understanding what their craft is. Right? Because like if we don't do it, we still need to learn what they're doing. You know
it's easy to get taken advantage of. As an artist, I think.
Watch out.
Why?
We're coming.
Watch out, we're coming for you.
Because I feel like a lot of the people that I've spoken to, a lot of it is doing it. They're just doing it, and then they figured it out or someone else has done it to them, and they're like, I don't want to ever do that to anyone else.
100%. 100%. Because it's a crappy feeling, right? Because it's just like, it wasn't good enough to just warrant pay. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of stuff.
Or you're expecting something, and it's not what you were expecting, maybe.
But that's why, like, the contracts and having the communications with everyone being like, this is what it is, these are the points, there's no confusion. Like, no one's going to be surprised with any outcomes. It's being like, if you have a target in terms of number of people, like, that's just what we're at. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy that you guys have a whole team.
We're very lucky.
We're very blessed.
Very, very, very fortunate. That's for sure. Like even from here, we're actually going right to Yonge and Dundas to hand out some flyers for Massey.
Crazy.
Like we're just going straight guerrilla style, being like, you know what? Like we need the city word of mouth. Like we need to be boots on the ground. Like the city needs to see us right now.
So you're in a little bit of a stressful situation, just in terms of like it needs to happen. There is no option. This needs to happen.
There's literally no option of not hitting these numbers.
Where are you guys? Like, what is your thought process behind where you're posting or where you're like? What are you thinking about before you're heading out there?
I don't know. It's more or less like
any locations that we already have established relationships with. I think that's a very easy one.
Like venues.
Venues, restaurants. I don't know, fucking clinic. Oh wait, sorry. I can't say that.
Fine.
Like clinics. I don't know. You know, anything and anywhere that we have an established relationship with. I think that's pretty much easy. And then, just handing out flyers in high population areas.
Right? Are you finding that people are taking them?
We'll see today. We'll see today.
Today's our first flyer on
the
because we've just been so busy with shows. Like
it's intimidating. I think.
I'm terrified right now. Because like I'm freaking out. Like I hate just talking to strangers. Like dead ass. I'm pretty terrified.
I feel like this guy has maybe.
Oh yeah. He's fine. And Big Juice is coming out. Like his presence and his stature is just so like. And people are just like I'll take whatever. You're just like
just don't hurt me. Just don't hurt me. Like I'll take whatever you're giving me.
That's a huge thing. The colleges are good too, probably. We were
talking about like heading out to U of T, Ryerson. Ryerson's just down the street. Yeah. And so like definitely we're gonna be talking about objects. Tomorrow we're gonna be doing the Gutsy Walk at Sunnybrook Park.
Okay.
So we're gonna be just talking at every single event that, like every engagement we're at moving forward, you're gonna be hearing us talk about Mezzy.
Yeah, well, I feel like word of mouth is a huge thing. An actual person to person talking to somebody. We have events here, and people don't know about them. If I'm posting it on our boards where everyone gets those messages. I'm posting them on the walls, and nobody's seeing them. Nobody even knows. I have to talk to people. You know? On social media, it's like I have to post it 10 times before someone sees it once.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, right? Like we could do all our best to time things and make sure that it's seen the best, but they follow other people too, unfortunately. So just lose all your other followers and just follow us. Basically. Yeah,
well, and there's that balance of like, am I being too promoty or too, am I maintaining our genuine, selves on this brand? You know what I mean?
What's it? Don't follow your dreams, follow us.
A bitter expert.
Who runs your social media?
I do. I do.
You're on it.
It's a lot. It is a lot.
It's like a full-time thing to be creating content and posting stuff. And
it's more the engagement, to be honest. Like, 'cause like I feel like I have so much fun. We have so much fun making the assets, but I feel like it's so draining being on socials from the engagement side because we all know that if you're not engaging pre and post, like you posting the asset, it's just not going to get as far. Yeah. But I feel like the more you're on the engagement side, you're melting your brain, and I hate that. I hate the doom scroll. I hate like I feel like our socials is so fine tuned to what we need it to be, and I love that. But like obviously we're still human, and we end up on parts of Instagram and TikTok that we have never been. Yeah. But that's part of the game, and if we don't engage, like we're not gonna get it like half the reach.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because we're just like, we spent 3-4 hours on an asset, sometimes depending on the complexity of it. It's like, if we don't even put half the amount of time in the engagement, it was such a waste of time because it'll just get to, a fraction of the people that it should have gotten to.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And
it's exhausting.
It's so exhausting. But luckily enough, like, we have 4 people to share the labor, right? So, like, we all have our own little dedicated engagement slots, and we all, like, stack it so that we engage one after the another, so that it looks like all of this stuff is happening simultaneously, and that's how we're getting the numbers that we're getting.
It's crazy. Yeah. So if you were to speak to somebody who's just starting out, which I think you probably do often at open mics, what would you say are the most important things for them to take care of in their career starting out? What do they need? What's their kit?
A product. They need a product, so they need to develop themselves as the artist first. Like, I think if they don't have, like, if they don't fall in love with the craft, like, you're just going to be in that lane of, I'm only looking for monetization. I'm only looking just to make money off of this thing. But, like,
well, if you're only looking for money, I don't think.
And
why are you here?
Exactly. Like, music. Like, are you crazy? Like, there's so many other things you could just make money from. Like, no, music is not the thing if you just want to make money.
Yeah, just sell drugs.
Yeah, sell drugs. Like,
bleep that out.
Like. Crypto, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just a whole bunch of other crap that you could just make money off of. But if you don't, like, have that discipline and being like, no, I want to create, like, a sound or a product in music that, like, I can live off of forever. Yeah. Not a lot of people go right to, how do I get signed? How do I get, all that stuff.
Well, you need things. There are steps to take before you get signed.
Exactly. Hey, you probably need to write a couple songs.
Practice,
put in the hours.
Important.
Be in front of people, maybe have a performance under your belt a couple times. Like, we've seen signed acts who've never performed before, and it's just like, crazy. How? Yeah. It's because they have a big following or whatever, and no shade, but like, it's a different world.
And I think it's the product thing comes back to when I go to see their show, I want an awesome performance. Like, I'm paying to go see these people, right? Yeah. And it's disappointing when they can't perform, really, or they don't have a stage presence, or they don't. I'm like, what? I was in love with you online.
Yeah. But it's so different when you're, like, in your bedroom, and it's so easy to be, like, the nth version of your personality. Yeah. Right? You can be as big or as small as whatever. You can be anything. But once you're in front of that crowd, now you're inside your head, and you're just like, oh, man, am I really that person? And all this imposter syndrome goes through your head, and you're just like, damn, like...
Yeah, just be genuine. I think, right?
Yeah. Like, I think that's true too. Though. I think
just be, it's so important to be genuine. Because then you'll run into that on stage and you'll be like, what am I doing? Because it's not me, and you're basically a better actor than you are a better musician,
well, and
right?
even on your social media or the music you're releasing.
Yeah, and if it's cool, like some people were like, this is my alter ego, and it's very different from their usual self, but it makes sense for them, and they live it, and it makes sense.
It's still genuine.
It lines up exactly. But then I think it gets a little bit tough when you're like, oh, I want to be like so and so artist, so I'm gonna be a bit different when I'm on stage, but then that's not your normal self. And then I feel like, you know, even if you do a good job of like making sure you're fitting that as much as possible, like I feel like people aren't stupid.
No, people can feel it. I think it's subconscious. Something's off.
Like if I showed up in like a mesh shirt and like, you know, titties hanging out and shit, I don't know, you know?
Would be uncomfortable.
I would be uncomfortable. Everyone else would be uncomfortable.
You don't know what they do in their spare time. I don't care. Yo, if it makes them confident and they feel confident in it, I could care less. I could care less.
So a product.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you, really, though?
It means like, you know, you having a craft, like having something tangible to actually take to someone.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Like a song.
Yeah, a song or at least a demo or something. Like, because that happens a lot of the times where, you know, because of our station at Objects, a lot of people come to us with being like, hey, like I have a demo or I have something I want flushed out. Can you help us? And then it'll be like, well, do you have XYZ taken care of before you come to us? And then it's
what is XYZ to you?
XYZ would be like, hey, like, do you have a fully completed demo? Or where are you at with the demo process? Do you have the lyrics? Do you have the instrumental? Like, what do you have?
Are you guys looking at their assets? Are you saying like, do you have a, you know, one sheet or a, you know, whatever?
We try.
A bio,
we try to at least guide them in the right directions, being like, even when you're, before putting out a song, do you have these things covered? Like the bio, like, do you have, you know, even on the back end, it's like, are you registered as like an artist, like for your own royalties and stuff like that? Like a lot of people forget just the bookkeeping and the admin side. Obviously that's not the conversation we're having with someone who's just starting. So it'll be like, hey, just continue to practice every day. Try maybe try to learn an instrument, because that'll help you with your like musical theory and like just your understanding of your craft.
Have you seen people who feel like they're stuck, where they've been releasing music, they're at a point where they just don't feel like it's going anywhere and they're not sure why?
Definitely.
Where do you point them? Like, what is your approach to that? You must have it sounds like you guys have been doing it for long enough. You have an over.
Like, I mean, we're still learning. Like, we're not in that position where we're just like, yes, like everything.
We're experts.
Like we're struggling all the time. You know what I mean?
But it sounds like you guys have this, you know, experience now. You at least enough to say, I think I might have an idea of.
Like we're like level 5, like Charmander. You know what I'm saying? And some people
we're like about to evolve.
But we're not there yet. But we can definitely like guide, you know, the level 2s and the level 3s and level 4s, because we've been there. Right. We're all in different stages in our career. So you know, we try our best to do things, and then, you know, we also have people that we reach out to and we look up to. We're talking like a you know, a level 10 friggin' what's the one between Charmander and Charizard? Charmeleon. Yeah. You know?
I mean, yeah, we're cool.
Yeah. I have friends. But it's a tough one, right? There's so many different things that could you know, pose a challenge to your career, whether it's you're just beginning or whether you've been releasing a lot of music. But I think what's most important is understanding and having the confidence in yourself that you're able to do this despite the challenges. Because in anything, like if you're breaking the moment something comes up on the road, then it's probably not meant for you, right? And you know, challenges and struggles make everyone stronger, and sometimes those challenges are unnecessary, but they do happen. And then I think what really shows, you know, what I look up to in other people is when they get through that challenge and I see them flourishing after. So yeah, in terms of like selling as a product and things like that, you know, there's so many different things, but I think that the confidence and like making sure that you're executing and you're able to overcome the challenges is so important.
Well, we talked about branding a little bit earlier too, and having cohesive branding. as a band, you know, is
Yeah.
kind of important.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's cool because like I feel like because of what we've been doing in the city, in the community, like we have very casual relationships with a lot of artists that we would just like casually A&R for. They would just like pick our brain, being like, hey,
That's awesome.
so like this is where I'm at, like have you seen what I've been doing? Or they'll update us on what they're doing, what their strategy is, and be like, oh, maybe think about this. Like it's always it's never do this, it's have you thought of this. And it's fun because like these are our friends at the end of the day, and if we have the bandwidth to do it, like we'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll have, like if it takes like a quick 15-minute call with one of our friends who just has a song that's about to come out, and she's just like, hey, like is there anything that I should be focusing on right before this comes out? And it's like, yeah, just make sure you have this,
Yeah.
and then you know, let's see what happens.
I feel like that's the best part about having a job in this industry is that it is kind of community. Like that's kind of the point of it.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of industries have that. Like
No.
we're all here to have fun and be friends. You know,
yeah,
which is
literally.
awesome.
Because the chemistry will dictate like how successful it is. Like if your chemistry as a team when you create your product is so good, like that energy is so infectious.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You guys are awesome. This has been fun. We have a couple minutes left. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you were like, I wanted to talk about that, and we didn't talk about it? I haven't heard anything from you, Jay. I feel like I keep
I've just
giving
been
you a
absorbing
chance.
everything.
I'm
The
sorry.
vibes, the
What do you like to
talking.
do, Jay?
All of you out.
See,
and
Jay's
I'm
the
like,
cool one, Yoshi's the funny one, and I'm the TED Talk speaker. Like that's just what we do.
I keep wanting to like, but every time I'm like, oh, that's a dumb.
What do you like to
question.
do?
Like, I can't.
What's your favorite foot between your left and your right foot? What is your favorite finger on your hands?
My right foot is the strongest.
Nice.
Thank you, Yoshi. And my middle finger.
Good answers.
All right.
Good answers.
Well,
That ends my time here.
thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know.
We have vinyl.
No.
We have vinyl. We got
Oh, yeah,
from
from
Toss of Glory.
Really?
Yeah, so
That's
we have
crazy.
a
Is it a
7-inch.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and it's awesome because you're getting 2 singles for the price of 1. It's us and our homie Gems, who's also on the Lovetown label. So his latest single and our latest single are on it.
That's sick.
Different vibes.
Nice.
More of a
Yeah.
house vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the good stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, tangible
pretty cool.
products. You
The
see that?
future is now.
Yeah, hell
Future
yeah.
is-
Oh, our music video is coming out soon for Tossavare.
Yeah.
Really?
And then our third
You
single.
guys are busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's so exciting. That's the way to be, though.
We're trying to get out to Japan next year. That's
Wow.
essentially like one of the biggest things. 'Cause
Wow.
When we were even talking about the genre, like we're trying to have an active shift from R&B neo soul to city pop.
Okay.
We actually want to use it as a marketing tool to be like, hey, there's a genre that we identify with that y'all in North America aren't really up to speed on.
Okay.
So we want to kind of use it as a thing to kind of like educate people in North America, being like, you know, city pop is literally just a mishmash of funk, soul, and jazz. And that's literally everything that we listen to. So if we just call it something else, and there's already
City
like
pop.
city pop, Japanese city pop. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And like we wanna get out there, experience life, and then export it back to North America. Just
Yeah.
being like we're from here, but we're heavily influenced by out east, and it would be really cool to kind of tie in our own cultures with our music and a little bit more based on what's actually going out there versus our perception of what's going out there.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
You guys have big plans.
Oh yeah.
You have big
Big
plans.
dreams.
We're quite ambitious. Like it gets us into trouble a lot of the time, but I mean like
Good trouble.
good trouble,
Yeah, good-
the best
yeah.
type of trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for coming out today. This
Yes,
was
yes,
amazing.
thank you.
This
Awesome.
is so much
Bitter
fun.
and Broke, check them out. New single, show, Massey Hall,
Yeah.
Woo!
show,
Get your tickets.
North by Northeast, Baby G, vinyl. You can't ask for more.
OnlyFans.
Link in bio. Link in bio.
Like that.
Breeze of sunset shade is good enough, that great.